connection to the question, or it doesn't relate to me at all. So why do you think that we're supposed to do this? Or what are the positive aspects of the discussion forums? And I'm going to go ahead and chat promotes interaction. Thank you, LaDonna. Anybody else? Considering various perspectives can enhance learning. Thank you, Courtney. Asynchronous means people with creative. Thanks, Michael. Who are using 21st century? Yeah. And thanks, Jason. So yeah, so you all again have touched on some of the reasons that discussion forums are important. It increases the interactions and engagement between students, and that can result in better learning. You know, more engagement, more enthusiasm for the course, and better learning outcomes. It does build a community of learners, so students are, of course, interacting and learning from each other. Students are constructing knowledge. So if you're a constructivist, this is where it's happening. Your students are going to be actively engaged in learning, and learning becomes more experiential. It's student-centered rather than teacher, so the instructor becomes more of a facilitator rather than sort of the dictator. And if you are instructing, it can serve as a formative assessment. So you're kind of going to get to know where your students are at in the classroom, or whether they're understanding the course. The last question is, what discussion, I know we're all familiar with Canvas, but what discussion forums have you used that you found engaging? Reddit, okay. Google Communities, okay, Reddit. I haven't used Reddit, VoiceThread. These are all really great ideas. And I'll have to try Reddit. Now at this point, we've talked about discussion threads, and now I'm going to turn it over to Alicia, and she's going to introduce you to Vialogs, and then you're going to participate in a Vialog discussion. So Alicia, I'm going to stop sharing and turn it over to you now. Thank you everyone for your wonderful comments.
Okay, thanks Patty, and give me 2 shakes of a lamb's tail to get my sharing up. Okay. Patty, you can see me? Everyone can see me, I assume?
I can see your screen.
Perfect. Okay. All right. Well, I thought that Patty brought up some very interesting and thought-provoking questions. And it seems to me that we all have very similar feelings, lukewarm feelings at that, about text-based discussion threads. Sometimes it's engaged. Someone, can everyone be on mute? Patty, you need to mute.
Sorry.
Thanks. Okay, sometimes it's engaging, sometimes it leads to good things, but more often than not, it's a form of creative oppression. We're forced to work within these boxes of endless paragraphs of redundancy. So I say it's time for a revolution. It's time for a better way to engage with our classmates, our colleagues, and most importantly, our content. Are you with me, people? Can I get a chat room hoorah? Fist pump, awesome. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So I am here to introduce you to a better way. I'm here to introduce you to a more dynamic way. Let me introduce you to Vialogs.
Wait, a vial what?
today we're running the Art of the Cell workshop, and it's very much about looking at cells and thinking about cells through an artistic lens.
And we invited scientists and artists and students into our labs to look at cells, to look at some blood smears and do some staining of blood smears, and then to create art based on the lab work.
Do you know where I can find the Electoral College?
No, I'm from Tennessee.
George W. Bush is the winner of Florida's 25 electoral votes.
That's not fair at all.
Get over it. It's so old by now.
The Electoral College is simply an antique. It's obsolete.
Now, moving on very quickly to another example, example 3b. We have 3x times p minus q.
Okay, so Biologs definitely looks like a pretty fun tool. But how hard is it to actually create one of those video discussions?
A Biolog is an online video with a group discussion feature. Life-changing.
All right, give me another second to switch my share. Well, I apologize for the non-syncing of the mouths and the audio. That's a Zoom thing. But anyway, so that's Biologs pretty much in a nutshell. A time-stamped video discussion. And I know that the little demonstration in the video of creating a Biolog in a group was kind of quick. So I just want to go into a couple more of the cool features that it has before we go on to our little activity. So right now what you're looking at, this is our home page. This is what I see when I come in, when I've logged into my account. And you can create a new Biolog pretty much from anywhere within the website as long as you're logged in. And obviously, go up to the Create tab. And you go up to the Create tab. There we go. All right, and really quick, on step one with adding a video, they give you some options. A new video is coming directly from your computer hard drive, something you've created. Existing, something that's already been uploaded into Biologs. And then, of course, your YouTube URL link. But over here on step two, where you're actually defining and creating your Biolog, in the Biolog description, I don't know if you noticed in the video that I typed in a question. And the reason is because this content will be shown in the dialogue discussion page. So it's a great place to put instruction or leading questions that you want your participants to considering while they're watching the video. And then down here in your privacy settings, if you're making it private and you're selecting participants, they need to have an active Biologs account in order to be invited. Excuse me. All right, and then going over into the actual Biologs page, just to show you a couple things there. This should look familiar to you by now. But what I wanted to talk about was the timestamps over here. They are actually, and Michael kind of talked about this at the beginning. Let me get this there. Okay. That the ease of a discussion, a text-based discussion thread is that you can search for something easily through all of that text. And that is not always the case or ever the case with a video, right? You have to kind of watch the whole thing from start to beginning. Well, these guys have figured out how to be able to go back to that video at that point where this post was made. So 323 is 323 in the video. If I click on it, it's going to take me there. So I can watch what this person is referring to. So I think that is just fabulous. And the other really cool feature here was the Q&A. I know I kind of pulled that out in the video, but the Q&A is also timestamped. So as the moderator going through the video and you stop it, you can insert a Q&A there or a poll. And it will be attached to that part of the video. And as a moderator, you can access that information from the poll. And on this icon here, it takes you to your Biolog management page. And that's where you can check your polls out. So I have 2 polls associated with this Biolog. I'm going to click on it and bam, there are the results. One other cool feature here on the Manage Biolog is the delete. If you are a teacher and you want to use this Biolog in various semesters, you can actually just delete all of the comments that are associated with it without actually deleting the whole Biolog. So it's kind of a really nice little tool there. Just keep in mind that you have to click save down here, otherwise it doesn't do anything. I've done that multiple times. Okay, so there you have it. And before we move on, I just want to know, does anyone have any questions? Did you see something in the video with creating a Biolog, a group, or something about the handout? Anyone? Yes, you can delete individual comments. The person that posts it can delete it, and I believe the moderator has access to delete anything. So, anyone else? Any other questions? Bueller? No? All right. Oh wait, can they be embedded? Absolutely, that's excellent. Thank you, Michael. Michael, sometimes I feel like you are kind of staged. Yes, you can embed. If you look down here, there are tabs. The embed tab is here. If you click on it, it gives you code, HTML code, so that you may embed it within, say, a blog or a website or something. Can you reuse a Biolog? Absolutely. Another tab down here called video info. This gives you all the information on that video. Let me raise this up a little bit. But also allows you to easily create a new Vialog based on this video without having to go through the whole process. Interested to see if Canvas is stripped down. Yeah, good point. Oh, okay, good. Michael says yes. Very good. Anything else? Anyone? All right. Those are very good questions. Thank you all. It was nice to go a little deeper into it. Okay, now for the fun part. Let's play. So I'm assuming everyone, because most of you at the beginning were letting us know that you do have your Vialogs account open. What we're going to do now is we're going to work a little bit individually. We're going to go to our Vialogs tab. Everyone should already be logged in. If not, go ahead and please do that. And once you get logged in and you have your homepage up, I want you to do a search. So if you go up into, thanks Michael for providing that link for everybody. If you go up into the search box, I want you to type in ed, ed, oops, rev, R-E-V, those are 2 words, and do a search. If everyone could go ahead and start that search. That should bring up the Vialog that I've created for us today. It's called EdRev. It's a Ken Robinson video. Some of you may have seen it before. If not, it's very inspirational, and he talks about an educational revolution. EdRev, yes, E-D-R-E-V. Perfect. As you can see, if you look up in the right-hand corner, if everyone has this Vialog open, these are my leading questions. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually watch the video, and I'd like you to make a couple of posts. They can either be in reference to the questions that I've listed here or just something you find interesting. Doesn't matter. Before we start, please make sure everyone is muted so that there's not a lot of background noise going on. And about 15 minutes later, I'm going to stop everyone. We'll regroup back here in Zoom, and we'll talk a little bit about our experiences. Now, if you stop early, I recommend that you refresh this page, and that way you can see all of the new comments that come in. Okay, so if everybody's ready, let's talk about a revolution.
very well intentioned. Don't you feel?
Okay, if everyone could stop the video now if you haven't already and come back to us. Okay, so has everyone stopped their video and come back to the Zoom meeting? Yeehaw. Okay, great. Okay, so I've been refreshing as you go along, and I know this was one reason why we wanted to do this, so you could experience some of the things. I thought when you came back after refreshing, if you clicked play, let me see. Yeah, so it should start you back where you were. But I'm not sure, and I didn't want to try it because it seems like my share wasn't muted for some reason, though I thought it was. Huh, okay, it was at the beginning every time. Weird. Well, so again, another downside. Yeah, you gotta leave the video and come back, but really, you don't typically, no, I think it's Becca says, same for me, I wonder if it's the browser. No, I think it's just the way it is, because really it's an asynchronous tool. So the idea isn't that you're going to actually be having a dialogue together. Yeah, exactly. So it shouldn't be an issue in real life. This was just kind of a scenario, an awkward scenario that we set up here. But I wanted to give everyone a chance to experience working through a video and commenting on it as you go and anything. So, so does anyone have any insights or thoughts, questions about the discussion thread? You can unmute if you want, or you can do the text, doesn't matter if you have anything.
This is Vale. I have a discussion board on D2L and I don't like it. So this semester I actually went away from straight text and have been doing Pinterest and Google+.
Oh, cool.
But on those, you can't really embed a video. So I can see how this would be really or beneficial, as in you can embed that video and they can still have a text dialogue, but it's still linked in with something else. So it makes it more relevant.
Right. Yeah. Good point.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, Alicia, I think so. A couple things. Watching that video, I think that Michael pointed out the lack of. I think that they're probably, I don't know how new this platform is, but I think I would expect that going forward, they're going to be working on making that commenting feature refresh in real time without having to refresh the full page.
Yeah.
Because I could see uses of that in a face-to-face class, for example.
Absolutely.
And I thought the other thing I thought was a little bit awkward was the inability to. I thought there'd be a separate scroll bar in the comment section, because if you scroll down too far, the video would actually go out of place. At least it was when I was working in Firefox. So.
Well, actually, I mean, you can just scroll in the thread, like you said, but once it gets to the end of that thread, that's when it scrolls the whole screen.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would expect them to build some more functionality around those two pieces. But my question for you is, do you know if there's any integration with Vialogs with any specific learning management systems like Canvas or anything like that?
I do not, because I have never worked in a learning management system outside of being a student in one. I don't know if Michael has any answer to that, being an instructor, or anyone else that maybe works through that, but I don't know, honestly. Yeah, Michael doesn't know either.
Okay.
But that's a great question. And again, I don't know how new this technology is either. So, and I know that they are changing features all the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, true. Michael brings up the point that aside from just getting the iframe embeds.
Yeah, and do you know if you embed it, how do the comments embed? How do they display when you embed a Vialog?
My guess is that this screen is what comes up in the embed, but that is just a guess because I haven't actually experimented with that yet.
Yeah, Michael, I read your comment. I think that'd be really cool if they did something like how SoundCloud does, where you can kind of like view the comments as the video is playing.
Yeah, exactly. And Anne brings up a good point in the chat box about how the mark time matches the video, and relating content to the discussion makes that easier. The thing, I don't know if you know, well, you probably didn't because you haven't had a chance to actually go through the comment thread, but when you do go to that point, say if I click on this post here at 3:42, And it takes me to that point. You probably want to take it back a couple of seconds, because most likely whatever it is they commented on was a couple of seconds before that. Just a little information there. Becca, I know it takes me a while too to get my thoughts out. Anyone else have anything they want to say about it? I thought some of these, oh, someone's out there.
I can say that I just embedded it on our course homepage at the bottom if anyone wants to see what that looks like. It's not too bad. It shows the comments. You can play the video.
Oh, does it?
It's
are you
it might have.
working within Biologs when it's embedded like that?
It doesn't. It's not the same layout as when you're on the Biologs page. It shows the video, and then underneath it are the comments.
Gotcha. Well, I thought a lot of these posts were pretty good. There was one here about, oh yeah, who's Elude 54? Yeah, I don't know if I said that right. Elude. Oh, Eric, I like that. Endure versus enjoy is a question of privilege. I thought that was a really good point, because as Jody said, I'd love to snowboard every day, but there's only about $10 an hour involved with that. So
yeah, I've even heard the idea of being bored is a very modern idea.
It's true. I was just thinking we are the first generation. Well, okay, so I'm 46, so I am the first generation of people that actually can see the whole idea of leisure as work. But anyway, okay, so I'm going to go ahead and keep moving us forward, because we are at 1:43 and don't want to go over. But anyway, I think you've seen how a dialogue or how a dialogue works, and you've each participated in a dialogue, in a discussion. So I want you to think a little bit about your own situation, and I know some of you have brought it up a little bit already, but let's or someone give me an example of how you might use this in an educational setting. I know there's teachers out there, and there are instructors out there. As a discussion, you're such
This is Vale again. I had talked before, so I was going to let somebody else talk. But I do a nutrition chapter where we use some of the TED Talks, and I have them watch the videos, and then we have a discussion in the class. But I could see how I could use the class time actually better for a different activity, and they could watch the videos and have this dialogue instead online before class, and then we could have a shorter summary in the class and do it, like I said, a different activity. Mm-hmm. So that would free up some lecture time and activity time in the classroom for me.
Yeah, that makes sense. And Eric also said something about that this could make it make the absorb heavy activity more interactive, which is a good point as well. So, okay, what about, let's not leave all of the corporate trainers out there. How about in a corporate setting of professional development or sales training or something? Does anyone stop? Does anyone have any example in that scenario? I can give one. You could do, if you have presenters, consultants, you can critique presentations, things like that. That would be fun. Oh, good. That's interesting. Anyone else? Working with global teams? That's a good one. Yeah, actually, that's a great idea, making it more international. Yeah. Timestamp revision ideas. Oh, that's, yeah. Oh, that is, yeah, okay. I had to think about that one for a minute. Right, those are some very interesting ideas. We also, Patty and I came up with some that are on the handout. It's the last page of the handout to kind of get your juices flowing, to get some ideas. But that's pretty much it. It's our Dialogues. And I hope that, one, you learned enough about the Dialogues to feel like you can just jump in there and kind of explore and get comfortable with creating Dialogues yourself, etc. But more than that, I hope that you at least developed an interest, if not a little bit of an excitement, about how you could use this in your own instructional designs. I'm going to use it. I think it's really fun. But that was kind of the point of this webinar, was to just kind of get you psyched about a new way of discussing online. And I'm going to hand it back over to Patty, and I thank you all very much for participating and for your time and listening to this. Okay, Patty, it's all yours.
Hi. Well, we're going to wrap it up now. I have a final question, which I think most of you have kind of answered. What were your feelings about using Vialogs? Do you see that you might be able to work with it? Did you feel like it was easy to use? And you can either talk or use your chat. Yeah, easy to use. Thank you, Michael. Anyone else? Very simple. It is pretty straightforward. It would be a great addition. Good. And the last question, this is a share out kind of thing, because I think we're all really interested in what people are using these days. What are some of the go-to tools that you're using that are really making your job or your life a lot easier right now? If you could just share in the chat box or either talk about them. Trello, okay. Trello I'm familiar with. Google Apps, Google Drive, Snagit. Okay, Google Apps. I'm using Google Docs a lot. Google Search. Anybody using Basecamp these days? Pinterest, Google Plus, VoiceThread, Slack. Wow, that's a new one. I love Basecamp. Cool. Slack is a team chat. I'm not Evernote. Good. Well, I hope that you're getting some ideas from each other. Slack sounds really cool to me too. Well, I want to thank everyone for coming and for sharing. I want to encourage you to go to Canvas maybe tomorrow or later today, because our survey still isn't up, and to fill out our survey to let us know how you felt about our webinar. Thanks for taking the time out today to share with us and answer our questions and comments. Alicia, do you want to add anything?
No, ma'am. That's great. Thank you all so much.
Thanks, everyone. Really appreciated your time today. Bye, everyone. Have a great weekend, you too, Michael. Ciao. Hasta. Hey, Alicia.
Hey.
Hey. Well, I think it went well.
That's fun.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think it went really well. What do you want to do about the survey?
Oh, we can send. I thought it was ready to roll.
I can roll it out right now.
Oh, yeah, let's do that.
I was just waiting to get your comments on it. So I'll go ahead and
I thought it looked good, and so yeah, I know we might want to go ahead and email a link out to everybody too. So.
Which link are you talking about?
The link to the survey.
Oh yeah, I was gonna just put that in the.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
I was gonna put it on Canvas. Okay, all right. Well, I'll do that this afternoon.
Okay. I forgot to start recording, so I